Hello, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. My name is Juliana, and I'm so excited to be here with you today. I hope you're doing well wherever you are.
Hi, I'm MR Beast. It's great to be here with you too, Juliana. And hello to all of our listeners. Today we're going to talk about something really important: how to speak English.
Yes, that's right. Learning to speak English can be a little challenging, but it's also super rewarding. I know it can feel tough at times, but we are here to help make it easier. Speaking English opens up so many opportunities, right?
Absolutely. You can meet new people, travel to different countries, and even open up job opportunities. And guess what? English is one of the most spoken languages in the world, so knowing it really makes a difference.
Yes, and speaking English is not only about knowing a lot of words. It's also about feeling comfortable using those words to communicate. That's a big part of speaking English. Practice, practice, practice.
That's right. So let's talk about how you can get better at speaking. First of all, it's important to remember that speaking English doesn't happen overnight. You won't wake up tomorrow and suddenly be fluent. It's a journey.
Exactly. And a great way to start is by practicing every day. Even if it's just for a few minutes, the more you practice, the more comfortable you will feel. You can start by talking to yourself in English. I know that might sound strange, but it really works.
I agree. Talking to yourself is one of the easiest ways to build confidence. You can practice speaking in front of a mirror. Imagine you're talking to a friend. This helps you think in English instead of translating everything from your language into English.
Right, and don't worry about making mistakes. It's totally okay to make mistakes while learning. Everyone makes mistakes when they are learning something new, even native speakers, so don't be afraid to try.
Yes, mistakes are part of the process, and when you make mistakes, you learn from them. One important thing is to keep going and not stop just because you said something wrong.
Another thing you can do is listen to English every day. This is super important. You can listen to podcasts, watch movies, or even listen to songs in English. The more you hear, the more you get used to the sounds of the language.
I totally agree. Listening helps you understand how native speakers sound, their rhythm, and how they use words in sentences. And when you practice speaking, you'll start sounding more natural too.
And here's another tip. Try to speak with other people who are also learning English. It's a great way to practice and help each other. You can find language partners online or join groups in your area.
That's a great idea. Speaking with others is one of the best ways to improve. And remember, even if the person you are speaking with makes mistakes too, it's all part of the process. Learning together is fun and helpful.
Yes, exactly. And don't forget to use English in your daily life. For example, if you like reading, try reading books or articles in English. If you enjoy cooking, find recipes in English. It's all about using the language in real-life situations.
Absolutely. The more you use English in your daily life, the more natural it will feel. And it's a great way to learn new vocabulary too. You'll learn words related to things you actually enjoy doing.
So, the key to speaking English is to practice, make mistakes, listen to English every day, and use it in your life. Little by little, you will improve. Remember, it's a journey. And we'll be here to help you along the way.
That's right. Keep going, stay positive, and enjoy the process of learning. Speaking English is a skill that gets better with time and practice. Let's keep going with this conversation.
So, let's dive into some more tips on how to speak English. We've already talked about practice, making mistakes, and listening to English every day. But there's one more thing that can really help you improve, and that's building your vocabulary.
Yes, vocabulary is key. The more words you know, the easier it will be to express yourself. And don't worry, you don't need to learn 100 words a day. Just focus on learning a few words each day and try to use them in your conversations.
Exactly. You can start by learning words that are related to your interests. For example, if you like sports, learn the words related to different sports. If you enjoy cooking, learn the words for ingredients and cooking techniques. This way, you can start using English in areas that matter to you.
That's a great way to learn because it makes the words feel more useful. You'll be able to remember them better when you associate them with things you already enjoy. And another thing to remember is that there are often many ways to say the same thing.
Oh yes, that's true. For example, if you want to say I'm happy, you can also say I'm excited, I'm glad, or I feel good. There are different words for the same idea, and learning them will make your speech sound more natural and interesting.
And speaking of interesting, let's talk about how to practice speaking in different situations. One of the best ways to improve your speaking is to practice in different contexts. Try to have conversations on various topics. It will help you feel more comfortable in any situation.
Yes, like talking about the weather, or asking for directions, or even having a conversation about your favorite movie. The more topics you practice, the more confident you will be in different situations.
Another tip is to practice English with a goal in mind. For example, you could try having a 5-minute conversation in English every day. Or you could set a goal to learn 10 new words each week and use them in a sentence. Small goals like that will help keep you motivated.
I love that idea. Setting small goals gives you something to work toward, and you can celebrate when you achieve them. And it's important to remember that learning English is not about being perfect. It's about making progress and enjoying the journey.
Right, and don't forget to be patient with yourself. Learning a new language can take time, and sometimes it might feel like you're not improving as fast as you'd like. But trust me, every little step counts, and you're getting better every day.
That's such a good point, Amar Beast. Progress takes time, but the important thing is that you're moving forward. One day, you'll look back and realize how much you've improved. And trust me, that moment will feel amazing.
Absolutely. You're doing great just by listening to this podcast and being here with us. The fact that you're learning and practicing English every day is something to be proud of.
Yes, it really is. Keep it up. And remember to have fun along the way. English is a tool to connect with others, so enjoy the process of connecting with people from all over the world.
And if you ever feel stuck or frustrated, remember that you're not alone. Everyone who speaks English fluently started exactly where you are right now, so just keep going and don't give up.
Exactly. We're all in this together. So continue to practice, make mistakes, and enjoy learning. You're doing amazing. Let's keep the conversation going and keep moving forward.
Now, let's talk about something that can make a big difference in how fast you improve your English, speaking regularly with others. I know we mentioned it before, but I want to emphasize it because it really helps. The more you speak, the better you get.
I couldn't agree more. It's like working out. The more you practice, the stronger you get. If you only practice reading or listening and never speak, it's like skipping a part of the process.
Exactly. One way to practice speaking is by finding language exchange partners. You can look for someone who speaks English and wants to learn your language. It's a win-win. You help them with your language and they help you with English.
That's a great idea. And there are so many apps and websites where you can find language partners. You can do video calls, voice messages, or even text each other in English. The more you practice with real people, the more confident you'll feel.
And don't forget about online communities. You can join forums, Facebook groups, or even Discord servers where people talk in English about things you like. You can start by reading and writing, and eventually, you can join the conversation and speak with others.
Yes, online communities are so helpful because they let you practice anytime, anywhere. And the best part is, you get to meet people from all over the world. You might even make some new friends.
Another thing to remember is that speaking in different environments is really useful. If you can, try to speak English in places like the store, cafes, or even at school or work. These real-world situations will help you understand how English is used every day.
And when you're out and about, don't be shy to try speaking with people in English. People are usually very understanding, and most will appreciate that you're trying to communicate in their language. It can feel intimidating, but you just have to take that first step.
That's right. Don't let fear stop you. You're learning, and everyone makes mistakes. If you make a mistake, don't worry about it. It's part of the process. In fact, making mistakes shows you're trying, and that's a good thing.
And I think it's important to be kind to yourself. Don't expect perfection. Celebrate the small victories like understanding a conversation or being able to talk about something in English without needing to look up every word.
Yes, every little win counts, and as you practice more, your vocabulary will grow, your sentences will flow more easily, and your confidence will build. It's all about staying positive and keeping that motivation going.
And remember, there are no shortcuts to fluency. But with time, effort, and consistency, you'll get there. Even if it feels slow at times, as long as you keep practicing, you will improve.
Exactly. English, like any skill, takes time. But trust me, once you start getting comfortable speaking, you'll see how much progress you've made. You'll even surprise yourself.
You will. And one thing that really helps is learning to think in English. The more you practice speaking and listening, the more you'll start thinking in English instead of translating from your own language.
That's a big step. When you start thinking in English, everything becomes so much easier. It's like speaking your first language. It just comes naturally. But remember, this takes time, so don't rush it.
Exactly. Just enjoy the journey. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and be patient with yourself. You're doing great. And remember, it's not about being perfect. It's about making progress.
That's right, Juliana. So, keep speaking, keep practicing, and keep enjoying the process. The more you use English, the easier it will become. And most importantly, don't forget to have fun with it. Learning a language should be exciting and fun, not stressful.
Yes, absolutely. And we hope that by listening to this podcast, you feel more inspired and confident to speak English. Keep going, and you'll see how much you can achieve.
Now that we've talked about speaking with others, practicing regularly, and staying positive, let's dive into something really important when it comes to learning English: pronunciation. This is something that can make a big difference in how easily people understand you.
Oh, pronunciation is huge, even if you know all the right words. If your pronunciation isn't clear, people might have a hard time understanding you. But don't worry, with some practice, you can get better at it.
Exactly. One way to improve your pronunciation is by listening to native speakers. Pay attention to how they say words, their intonation, and the rhythm of their speech. You can find videos, podcasts, or even YouTube channels that focus on English pronunciation.
And don't be afraid to imitate them. It might feel a bit silly at first, but repeating what you hear and trying to match their pronunciation will really help. This method is called shadowing, and it's a great way to practice.
I love that method. Shadowing is awesome because it helps you sound more natural. Try repeating after a speaker, even if it's just a short sentence. This gives you a chance to practice the sounds and rhythm of English.
Another important tip is to listen to different accents and varieties of English. English is spoken in so many different countries, and each place has its own accent. Don't limit yourself to just one. Explore accents from places like the US, UK, Australia, or even South Africa.
Good point. Understanding different accents will make you more flexible when speaking and listening. And as you practice, you might even start to pick up a new accent yourself, which is pretty cool.
If you're ever unsure about how to pronounce a word, don't hesitate to use online tools. There are websites and apps that can show you the correct pronunciation and let you listen to how the word is spoken.
Yes, those tools are awesome. Some apps even allow you to record your voice so you can compare it with native speakers. It's a great way to see how close you are to perfect pronunciation.
And one thing I want to remind you of is to focus on the most common words first. These are the words you'll use every day, so make sure you pronounce them correctly. Focus on mastering those and then work your way up to the more difficult words.
That's a smart way to approach it. Start with the basics and build from there. Also, don't forget about stress and intonation. How you say the words can be just as important as the words themselves. English isn't just about saying the right sounds, it's also about saying them in the right way.
Definitely. For example, in English, we tend to emphasize certain words in a sentence to show which part is most important. It can change the meaning of the sentence, so practicing stress and intonation is really important for sounding natural.
Exactly. And remember, it's okay if you don't get it perfect right away. The key is to keep practicing and listening. Every time you practice, you get one step closer to sounding more fluent.
And don't be afraid to ask others for feedback. If you're speaking with a friend or a teacher, you can ask them to correct your pronunciation. Most people are happy to help you improve, and it's all part of the learning process.
Yes, feedback is super important. It helps you know what to work on, and it can make a big difference in your progress. And speaking of progress, you'll notice over time that your pronunciation will improve. It's all about staying consistent.
That's right. And don't forget to practice in real situations too. Sometimes when we're nervous, we might forget everything we've learned. But with enough practice, it becomes easier to speak clearly even when you're a little bit nervous.
Definitely. And even if you make a mistake, don't worry about it too much. People will still understand you, and over time, it will become second nature to speak clearly. Keep practicing, stay positive, and keep learning.
So, with pronunciation, remember to practice often, listen to native speakers, use tools to help you, and don't be afraid to get feedback. Keep working on your pronunciation, and you'll see big improvements.
Exactly. Your pronunciation is something you can definitely improve with practice, and once it gets better, it will make a huge difference in your confidence. Keep practicing, and before you know it, you'll sound just like a native speaker.
Absolutely, keep going, and enjoy the journey of learning English. It's all about progress, not perfection. Keep practicing, have fun, and you'll get there.